Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors at Trillium. We live in an age of deep skepticism, and that skepticism gives rise to conspiracy theories. And we certainly live in an age of conspiracy theories, like QAnon or the theory of the deep state. George W. Bush is proposed by some to have been behind the 9/11 attacks, or the CIA was involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. That's in some ways the foundation of Oliver Stone's movie about JFK. We see the notion that conspiracies at play in advertising, that advertisers are using subliminal messaging, subconscious messaging to manipulate us to buying their products or services. We see conspiracy at play in something like the flat earth. This belief that a cabal of scientists have got together to deceive us into believing that the earth is round. I mean, even COVID is believed by some to be the plandemic, a plan by government to gain more power. And these conspiracy theories are found in every facet of life. I see them on the internet in the advertisements I come across, like something like what doctors don't want you to know, or what dentists don't want you to know, or what real estate agents don't want you to know. I mean, there's so much distrust out there. And what's the challenge for us is that so much that happens in life that's important to us operates outside our field of view. We can't really see it. We don't really know what's going on for sure. And we're invited to distrust what we can't see, what we can't touch, what we can't taste, feel. And it poses a problem for us though, because so much of what's important in life rests on trust. If we lose trust, where are we then? People's motives are also outside our field of view. And what are people really up to? What's their agenda? What's their goal? Even with people we know well, even with people we love, we don't really know for sure what they're up to, what they're conspiring for. And people don't know what we're up to either, which makes, again, the challenge of trust that much harder. Does anyone out there pray for you on a regular basis, in a consistent kind of way, maybe on a daily basis? Maybe they're praying for you every day, lifting you up into the presence of God, bringing you before the mind and heart of God. It's a nice thought, isn't it, that there might be someone out there praying for you, maybe even more than one person praying for you, bringing and invoking the blessing of God into your life. Do you pray for anyone in that kind of way, in a regular, consistent, dedicated form, maybe on a daily basis, bringing that person consistently before the heart and mind of God? It's a powerful thing too when you think about it. I think we've been brought up to believe that prayer has to be some big kind of production, but I think actually the power of prayer is found in our little prayers. The little prayers that we can make for one another when we're brushing our hair, or maybe making our breakfast. The kind of prayers that we can have when we have a short break at work, or when we're in the car or in the bus. The little kinds of prayers that don't take a lot of time or thought. See, because God already knows what that person needs. God already knows what's up in their lives. God doesn't need us to tell him what's going on. The point of prayer, the kind of prayer I'm imagining at least, that intercessory prayer, is really about bringing that person before God and then invoking God's blessing into their lives. In a sense that we're unleashing God. I don't fully understand it, but God is waiting for us to unleash him into people's lives. That we are, in a sense, being invited to give God permission to get moving in our own life and in the life of others. And God waits. And then when we unleash God through prayer, when we do that kind of intercessory prayer, we bring that person before the mind and heart of God, and we allow God's permission to get moving. It's important that we stand back and let God be at work. And of course, that's going to fall outside our field of view. We won't really understand or know exactly what God is up to. I think the question comes back to us, are we willing to trust that person into the care of God? Are we willing to trust that person to fall under the blessing of God in ways that we don't fully understand? There are certainly people out there who believe religion is part of some conspiracy. A conspiracy to defraud people of the truth. That's what Karl Marx thought, that's what Sigmund Freud thought, that religion is really geared to deceiving people of the truth. Because there's nothing out there. There's no higher power, there's no divine love, there's no guiding intelligence at work in life. And if that's the case, prayer is a worthless and pointless activity. There are certainly people who believe in God. They believe there's some higher intelligence at work in life, but they're not prepared to trust God with very much. I think the church today needs a large group of people who are prepared to learn again how to engage in intercessory prayer. The simple little prayers of bringing each other before the mind and heart of God. That's what we're asked to do, to bring each other before the mind and heart of God in order to unleash God's blessing into each other's lives. A lot of what God is up to falls outside our field of view, and we've been taught to distrust what falls outside our field of view, to assume the worst. That might be true in case of the world, but with God, we're actually invited to do something very different. Instead of distrusting what falls outside our field of view, with God, we're invited to trust what God is up to. Instead of assuming the worst, with God, we're invited to assume the best.